Coach will make an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions as usual. Just raise your hand. Go.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing great. Big ball game this Saturday. Really good opponent. They play well all three phases of the game. The next part of this journey for us is a big one. Got started with our preparation this morning. Unique in this one that they've had 2 weeks of preparation. Our players got to have a real sense of urgency here this week, getting prepared to go play our best football. And obviously coming off of Saturday's performance, there were a lot of really good things. There's some things that we got to clean up too. Players got a chance to see that, talk through it this morning. In particular, our young guys that got action in the second half. Just continuing to grow as we go through this and being ready to play when their opportunity comes. So with that, I'll open it up.
Adam, then Rob.
Yeah, a couple questions. First, last year you get your first top 25 win against Kentucky, and you had got, I think, 4 of them this year. Do you believe there's sort of a psychological hurdle teams need to get over to play better in those games?
Yeah, I don't believe that there was a psychological hurdle that our program had to get over. It was a preparation performance hurdle that we had to get over. That was a big win for us as a program to be able to go do that on the road. You saw the excitement from our players at the end of that ball game. Just as we were beginning that journey last year, it was one of the steps, the hurdles for us to prepare the right way, practice the right way, and then go out and execute and led us to play in the way we did on the back half of the season.
And is there any change to the status of Cedric or Jalen for this week?
Yep. Cedric will continue to evaluate here as he goes through practices this week. Jalen, you guys saw that the campus part of his process is complete, and so now it's just the other part of the process.
Coach, you got a team full of guys that have never been in this position before. All the hype, the outside noise, as you like to call it. Have you been surprised at their ability to stay focused, to kind of have blinders on?
Up until this point, absolutely. We're still in the beginning stages of this journey, really the halfway point. And, for us, the preparation, being real with each other, competing every day is going to be critical. It's critical today, this morning, critical tomorrow when we get back out on the grass. So far, these guys have handled it the right way. There's still things that, we pointed out today, not just on the field performance, but in our preparation that can be better. And, accountability to one another in this program is going to be important as we keep going.
In that same tone, do you think that because your leaders, most of your leaders on this team are kind of steady Eddie, even keel, never too high, never too low, that allows them to kind of keep that same focus and not ride the wave of stuff? And then can you talk about Chris Rodriguez and what he does well?
Well, I just think, the leadership from our football team, and the guys that we have that have grown, since we've gotten here over the last 20 months, their ability to put in work, see that work pays off, the ability to reset is an area of, when we got here, an area that we had to grow in, one that we have grown in. The leadership, you guys have heard me say this a bunch, just that the leadership within your locker room is really, really important. And for those guys to grab a hold, not be satisfied with where we are, what we've done, but in sports, it's all about your next performance. That determines, who you are and what you're about. And we're excited for this one on Saturday.
Josh, 2 things. Are there any young players from Saturday that showed out enough to where maybe enhanced your trust in them moving forward?
Yeah, there were a lot of guys that did a lot of positive things. I wouldn't want to just, point out one guy, but, on offense, defense, special teams, guys that had opportunities that performed well. The challenge is still to continue to grow, and you've heard me say this, good teams get better individually. That's the challenge too. And, for us, like this week, looking back on last season's performance, you see guys out there, and it's dramatic to see the improvement. And that can be from Hendon Hooker, it can be from Jalen Hyatt, from guys on your defensive line, Amari Thomas, just continuing to push and get better. And then when you get your opportunity, you take advantage of it.
there's been so much talk in football about analytics and coaching decisions based on that. Can you explain some of the analytics work you guys do in advance, in prepping for it, staff, things like that, and maybe how you apply that in a game?
Yeah, for us, just our game day meetings, just as a staff, offense, defense, special teams, understanding the game plan, how we see things possibly unfolding, situations that we would potentially be in, trying to talk through those things. Analytics is, a part of the game, but I think there's still a feel and ebb and flow to every football game too that, for me is important to have a feel for during the course of it.
What have you seen from Chris Rodriguez on film since he's been back, and kind of what's he added to that offense?
Just, dynamic and ability to do a really good job with the ball in his hands. And for them offensively, I think it's unique in that, just the tempo of play is so dramatic between the two offenses. It's a different style football game. Understand that limited opportunities, for us, and I'm saying that just in the number of possessions that will be in this football game. So it's something that, as a football program, we got to understand going into this one too.
Josh, last week the offensive line was added to the Joe Moore Award midseason watch list. What has been the biggest difference for your offensive line this year compared to last year?
Just a year within what we're doing. We've had consistency at the offensive line position. We've had a couple of guys that have been in and out, but everybody's been playing their natural position as far as, what they trained in training camp and spring ball. Continuity up front, year of growth and understanding what we're doing from Coach Ellerby and their communication. They continue to get better fundamentally. That's allowed them to play at a really high level. That's pass protection, obviously, trying to keep Hendon clean, and then what we're doing, running the football.
Josh, overall, to this point, how the offensive line has played based on what you would have expected, how would you sort of roughly grade that group? And then with Jerome Carvin specifically, how much growth have you seen from him from year one to year two?
Yeah, a ton of growth for him, just continuing to physically change his body, allowing him to play in a better football position consistently, which allows him to play with better technique for an entire football game. He's one of the great leaders inside of that room. It's a group that's really tight. They like being around each other, like hanging out together. They compete well together. They push each other during the course of practice. And, that group, just another year of maturity in what we're doing. From Coop to Jerome to Darnell, those guys have, Spraggins, they've all taken huge strides.
You all had a nice nod to Pat Summitt and Title IX. What led to that decision to do that, and can we see it return next season?
Yeah, just a unique opportunity, right? 50th anniversary of Title IX and all the opportunities that's afforded young women. I'm a dad and got a daughter and want her to have every opportunity to do everything that she dreams of. And certainly here on the University of Tennessee campus, right? Pat Summitt's influence and what she accomplished and achieved, her legacy that still lives on in women's sports, but certainly here on campus, and what she meant to Tennessee fans all over the country. It was just an opportunity to celebrate those things.
Coach, do you have any update on Taven Jackson after he got hurt in the fourth quarter the other day?
Yeah, Taven won't be available this week. He'll be out.
Josh, just what challenges does Will Levis present, and just how have you seen him improve from last year to this year as well?
Yeah, smart, understands offensively what they're doing, really good decision maker, ability to push the ball vertically and horizontally, accurate with the football, mature player. He's played a bunch of football and everything kind of runs through him. He does a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage, I think, in their run game too, and puts them in the right position.
How much confidence do you think the offensive line has gotten out of your all's ability to pick up those 3rd and 1s and 4th and 2s and that type when you all went to that bunch set and kind of play behind your pads and been able to get downhill and make some plays? It feels like you all have had so much success with that this year.
Yeah, we have been successful. You don't ever take that for granted here as we continue on the back half of the season. But it's a sense of pride for those guys. They want to be able to run the football, obviously. a majority of the time, that's what you end up doing in those situations. And you got to create movement and win on single blocks, but double teams too. And those guys have been really good in that situation here.
What's Elijah Simmons' status after his injury in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see throughout the course of the week, but I think he'll be available. We'll see.
Josh, what's Kentucky do defensively that can create some problems for your offense?
Yeah, they're really good. Top 15 defense, top 10 scoring, I think. They multiple in their fronts, multiple in their coverages. For all those reasons, you got to have great communication in your pass protection and your run game. And, as a quarterback, you got to do a great job of seeing rotations. We got to do a great job of winning up front and then go on the outside and win some one-on-ones too. And it'll be important throughout the course of the game.
Are there one or two position groups that you think you would say have been the most improved since the start of the season?
I wouldn't single out one or two position groups. I think as a football team, we continue to get better week by week.
A couple questions. Status on Kamal Haddon, and where do you need to see this defense continue to grow to stay competitive, especially in SEC play?
Yeah, all the guys that were nicked up, we'll find out their availability here on the back end of the week. Should have just said that at the beginning.
I guess, Josh, in terms of, since Stoops has been up there in Lexington, a lot of people have talked about sort of the physicality of the program. They try to base it around that, the line of scrimmage. What's the message to your guys this week about sort of the level of physicality required for this game?
Yeah, the line of scrimmage is something that we talk about winning every single week, both sides of the line of scrimmage, defensively and offensively. Certainly the course are certainly important in this one too. They are a physical football team, style of play, multiple personnel groupings, get into heavy sets, heavy run game and heavy play action off of it to create a bunch of big plays. And I think they're second in the league in big plays through the air and something that we got to do a great job of handling. You can't let them be efficient on early downs and play from ahead of the sticks.
Most schools have one or two rivals. Tennessee has Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Alabama and Georgia and Florida, Auburn back in the day. What's so unique about this program that Tennessee has half a dozen legitimate rivalries?
Yeah, it is. You talk to different generations of Tennessee fans, and you're going to get a different answer as far as what the big game is. Certainly, neighboring states here, this is a big football game, and I think it's unique that there are so many of them. They get circled by a fan base. It's the great thing about being here is that you're going to play in a bunch of big games.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Appreciate it, guys.